Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 5 versus 5 Supreme Commander Forge Lines today, top rated. I'm finally back and so is my cat. Hello. Somebody wanted to say hello to her once before, so there she is. You sweetheart, are you all excited? We've got a top tier 5 versus 5 going down today. She says yes in her own little way. Alright sweetheart, let's best put you down on the floor. Put you down on the floor. Very nice to be back. Those of you wanting a little bit of an explanation as to where I was, why I wasn't, all that good stuff, or perhaps not good stuff, I'll wait until the end. Let's not start on a downer. Average rating 21.47 as we've said, and yeah, 5 versus 5. Top rated. I keep saying the same things over and over again there. 84 points between the two teams, Team 1 and Team 2. So I'm going to make myself disappear in just a sec and we'll get underway. You may say, what does that actually mean, 84 points between Team 1 and Team 2? And of course, we've got the true skill ratings in total. And let's go ahead, jump on over so we can see what we're talking about. In total, there on the top right on the scoreboard, each one of these player ratings, in this case Blast Chill 2100, TheWreck is 2200, so on, they total up in this case between the two teams 10,700-ish points. And the difference between the two teams, all the players added together, is 84 points, which, you know, if you do the math and divide it between each player, gives us around 18 or so points on average discrepancy. You can see the scoreboard's just rounded that off to a 20-point discrepancy. All right, I think that's more than enough time spent on the intro. Let's go ahead and make a start. I know how some people really don't like that sort of thing. What can I say? You know, you're going to skip whatever the weather, aren't you? So let's go ahead and make a start then. We'll go ahead and unpause the game and we'll see what today's goodness has to offer. So we'll go ahead and start ourselves with Team 1 for no reason than they are Team 1. If we have a little look there, Team 1 today in green, Team 2 down south in red. Once upon a time I did plan to sort of do countries and have countries playing off against one another. The problem was I realized some people actually get kind of touchy. And it's not like I should cater just to the, you know, the lowest common denominator who just gets upset about everything. But I realized, you know, it just risks upsetting the balance too much, and you know, I've copped out on that one. Sorry, guys. We'll stick to Team 1, Team 2, Team North, Team South, Team Red, Team Green. All right, far enough time. Let's go start on Team 1 then. Blast Child, who seems to be the player that the team is coloured after there in green, 2100 going Seraphim first land. To his north in cyan, we've got TheWreck, a 2200 Aeon, also going first land. All of these favourite long-time pros in the game. Further on, we've got Terminal, an 1800 rated, going Burgundy as UEF, also first land. And last but not least, to make up the front line, is another green, more of a sort of a darker army green. We've got waffelzNoob, 2400 rated, and with that the highest rated player on his team today going Cybran, so a lovely mix on the front line. And in the rear with the gear to round it off in Bran is MrBeast, 2300, also Aeon, also going first land. Let's switch over then to the opposite side, their opposite number, as we take a look at Team 2 in red. We've got ourselves a sort of a khaki coloured TheWheelie, the highest rated player in today's game, whopping 2600. I mean, man oh man, this guy must know how to play. I mean, he's played enough games to know, but gee man, he really does. Seraphim there going first land, second land. As we continue to his east in Ferrari red, we've got ourselves SealForce, 1700 Cybran going first land, second land as well. As we continue on the front line to continue with that nice pattern, we've got Tryth, 2200 Aeon in grey, also going first land. And as we finish up with the front line, we've got InsidiousNoob. All of these regulars, all of these feature on the channel on the regular. InsidiousNoob there making his way towards the front line. As an 1800 UEF in purple, having gone first and potentially second air. I can't entirely be sure where his base was. Let's slow time down just a tad, because it looks like we've got some early raids taking place, because we need to finish off. The guy behind the front line, BalanceSlave, 2400 UEF there in pink, already getting his mass upgraded there to Tech 2 UEF, having gone first land. Also, alright, it is a custom map. You see the Neuroxis doesn't quite fill the 20 by 20 border. I believe this one is 18.75 by 18.75 kilometers. We've still got this annoying little glitch down here. The way that we need to fix that is by selecting a player, and then I think it fixes itself for the rest of the game. So we'll get that done with nice and quick. But first off, we were just in time to witness that kill there, the first kill from InsidiousNoob. So let's go ahead, select InsidiousNoob. Let's select his bomber. Let's go back to observation, and voila, the issue there in the corner has been fixed. And no, I was not talking about my own little image overlay there. Lovely bombing run right into the middle of all of those PGens. Waffel's got to be careful here. We don't want to lose all of those, and they're very close together. There could be a bit of splash. We see waffelzNoob attempting to put repair on them all so that they don't damage, and there's the chain reaction that Waffles was so desperately trying to avoid. Thankfully there to Terminal, who sends an interceptor in. That bomber is going to get no kills no more. We also see up here, while the players pause the game, InsidiousNoob also pushing ahead with a little raiding party, and he looks like he's going to pick that engineer off. So InsidiousNoob inside 4 minutes, attacking with both raiders on the ground as well as bombers in the air. If that was a one-on-one, trust me, I'd be getting ready to lob in the towel already if, you know, we were a 1v1. Thankfully, I'm not playing, and it's not a 1v1, so all of that is a moot point. Moot that rhymes with boot, thanks to who put me right on that about a year ago. Speaking of which, the channel is now a year old. I created it on the very back end of January 2023. So here we are in February 2024. It's a shame I wasn't able to put out a video on the day, but I make up for it with this one. The game that goes down, or went down, should I say, late last night. There we see a little raiding attempt there from waffelzNoob. Actually runs the tank and the scout right into InsidiousNoob. He'll be happy with that. Couple of kills for free, and prevents the raids from going elsewhere. Take a little look down south. We've got TheWheelie together with SealForce there, both of them pushing out towards the south. We've got an attempted run out as well, or a very rapid advance, perhaps should we say, with a little scouting party from Blast Shield. He realizes he ain't got the numbers and he's trying to back off. Blast Shield does have a scout in the area, although the majority of these here are, or at least half of them are scouts, as we see there up front. So TheWheelie is going to want to, well, I say he's going to want to be. Ideally, he doesn't want to lead the charge with these scouts, because these tanks, these stamps are going to be able to mop up those scouts almost for free. TheWheelie is trailing it in with 4 tanks, and TheWheelie, I don't know why, decides not to pursue. It's possible that he lost the scent. Quick check back up in the upper east side. We've got InsidiousNoob versus Waffles. InsidiousNoob 600 or so rating points behind his direct opponent there, or his opposite number. To make up for that, we've got Terminal here, the 1800, and once Tryth gets stuck in, that's going to give an advantage Tryth versus Terminal by 400 points or so, which somewhat evens off the engagement. SealForce very effectively pushing through here in the middle area. TheWreck does have a few Auroras there. They've gotten themselves a little bit too close. But now the micro is starting to pay off. These Mantis taking damage from range. Although TheWreck temporarily let up on that micro. Just a few Mantis remain. Looks like SealForce is determined to get as much damage from these as he can. He changes direction, and I think that's only going to benefit TheWreck. It's a lot of engineers over here from Blast Shield that may have found themselves in bother. And more than somewhat. InsidiousNoob's got to be careful here versus a much stronger opponent, and a stronger opponent that's got a lot more land forces with him. He's got an entire company there escorting the commander. InsidiousNoob just about smelt the problem and managed to get away before it was too much of an issue. We also see here Team 1, Team Green getting stuck into the drink. They've got 3 naval yards so far, 2 players getting involved. And if we look on the lower west side, it does appear here that Team 2, Team Red, have just about gotten slightly beyond the 50-way mark. Things a little more even on the upper east side. InsidiousNoob still making nice work with these bombers. This one here with 3 kills so far. To make up for that, waffelzNoob does seem much stronger on the ground. Tryth has made the switch up to Tech 2 already. Put in blazes across, being Aeon floating shields as well. Looks like he's trying to get the runaround on his opponent there, Terminal, who is so far just standing there in the mid trying to get new factory online. He is very low on units, so Terminal's got to be careful here. With Tech 2 units running by his flank, he's got very little, if anything, to deal with it. Actually relying on the Navy there, which he has gone, but, you know, just a couple of frigates is not really enough to deal with Tech 2 blazes. Meanwhile, what we got brewing down here, slow time down just a tad. Lovely engagements there. Let's slow time down just a bit. I love seeing this. Go on, Blast Shield. He's absolutely determined to finish that upgrade, and he does indeed. Does indeed get it. This is where this game looks absolutely gorgeous with these engagements. Again, you know, you hear me say it almost every time, but to think this game is now 15 or more years old. Oh, Blast Shield, look at that. 1400. He manages to swarm his opponent with tanks, and with it, just about gets away. That was close. Down to just 10% or so on his health. Very expensive, of course, to swarm your opponent that's capable of overcharge, wheelie, gun and overcharge. But when it's that or death, got to make use of the tools that you've got available to you. Let's have a little look. How are these units doing here from Tryth? Having crossed the pond, oh, they run into some Tech 2 units of their own. TheWreck responding with blazes. Tryth attempting there to back off, but it's too little too late. That's going to leave a nice bit of reclaim there for Team 1. Team Green to get their hands on. Upgrades across the board. We've got fronts just above the central area here. Has Tryth got anything yet? He does. He's got double gun, it would appear. The sniper comp. Terminal still bare, but is just moments away from getting the gun as well. He's 85%. Stick with him. Let's see if he does manage to finish it off. He's going to. Man, oh man, was that close. You don't want to hang around too long with the sniper com going at you. Oh, this is close. Tryth is moving in. Terminal's moving out. Both of them with the gun. Of course, the sniper comes slightly better in that regard, outranging. Tryth also with the Tech 2 blazes is attempting to block Terminal's escape. Realizes it's probably not enough. Terminal realizes it as well and starts dancing by the coastline there, seeing if he can get a few more kills. Terminal's also gone for Tech 2 with the UEF Riptide. And with it, saving the day on the tide, or on the coastline in any case. Very nice. Tryth continues to push up, and I reckon Terminal's probably going to have to back off a little bit. Certainly seems he's got inferior numbers as we check back down on the lower west side. Really pushing up there, looking very strong. The 2600 that he is, pretty much full health. Look at that. Couple of upgrades on the command, including the chrono. It could be the nano, beg your pardon. No, I think it is. I think it is. That's what happens when you haven't cast for a day or two. No, it's some of the things that have changed since I've last done it. Nerox is up to version 1.11. That was not like that since the last time that I cast. Blast Chili, I've got to be a little bit careful. He's certainly not short on ground units. but his opponent is on full health, and Wheelie is showing no sign of stopping the push here. Blast Shield aware of it. Look at that, below half health, is backing off. Some reinforcements here from TheWreck just in time. Some Tech 2 blazes cutting into the flank of Wheelie's advance, and that's going to cause Wheelie a moment of pause, but it's not much more than a moment. Wheelie's still pretty much full health, picking off these blazes. That's going to be that, I think. Blast Shield, no choice but to carry on with his aggression. Continues going after these units, does manage to get a second rank of vet there just as well. Wheelie on 3 stars and doesn't even need his 4th star, but it's going to be a little moment off, and now Rex showing up as well. Personal. This is what's required. Blast Shield's been taking the brunt of this attack, but to make a bad matter worse, SealForce now getting stuck in as well. Does make you think, how long is it going to last down here before somebody somewhere gets picked off, and I imagine it can't be that much longer. Have a quick look elsewhere in just a second. The Wreck's getting very low on health. Is Blast Shield able to keep him? Wreck gets a crucial rank of vet there, the 1st star. Wheelie continuing to press. Things are not looking good if you're rooting for Team 1 right now. Team 2, Team Rouge, are pressing through, and that's perhaps a mistake there from SealForce. He backs off, he stops assisting his ally, Wheelie there, who is by extension forced to pull back as well. Let's have a little look elsewhere what's happening. And we've got a couple of commanders here, one-on-one once again. Terminal comes out the scene, he's bullied back in, it looks like, by Tryth. Tryth, who can outrange and outdamage. We've also got a few broadswords on the scene there from BalanceSlave and a few ASF as well. I wonder how far away MrBeast is from getting enough ASF together to deal with that. Actually looks like he may already have enough. So BalanceSlave's got to be careful, but I'm going to focus back in down here. Seems to be where all the action is at this moment in time. To and fro in, nobody immediately in the red line yet. Let's keep a look elsewhere, make sure nothing too crazy is going on. Commanders just facing each other off with units. We've got a first real air engage there taking place between Beast, BalanceSlave, both of whom are the dedicated air players for their team, and it looks like it's relatively even so far. But don't forget BalanceSlave with the broadswords, 3 or 4 additional broadswords, of course, tips the balance there. Got our first little push up there in the corner. InsidiousNoob going for it. waffelzNoob, who at least for now appears to have an inferior number of units. Beautiful overcharge there from InsidiousNoob right into the middle of a bank of engineers that were trying to get to work on point defense. InsidiousNoob continues to press, but he's running out of units really quickly, and suddenly InsidiousNoob's going to find himself surrounded if he's not careful. He's almost out of units. There they go. And suddenly waffelzNoob has got him completely surrounded. As we move further down, InsidiousNoob is trying to get some reinforcements in. Thankfully for Insidious, these are Tech 2, and he's up against predominantly Tech 1. But man, it's that close. Nicely here for Waffles. He's been able to hang on to his Tech 2 Cerberus turret. This is going to continue tickling away at InsidiousNoob and his push. Insidious, who is there beaten back. We see Tryth also triggering a few units, which includes the switch up to Tech 3. Tryth there with 3 hubs or so. Appears to be the first. I say the first. Could take that back there as waffelzNoob with a few loyalists as well. Of course, a few loyalists is not enough versus the Harbs unless he gets a few more loyalists. Continue this. It just feels like there is something brewing here, and InsidiousNoob once again making the push up against waffelzNoob. He's feeling lucky. He's bringing his units on, then he backs off. Waffles, who is expanding his Tech 2 point defense here, and looks like they may be about to tickle InsidiousNoob to death. Waffles is continuing to press. This is so close. 17, 15. Could this be a draw? I don't know. waffelzNoob, I don't think he's low enough. 600, 500, 3, 2, 1, and it's good night. The first player from Team 2 is down, InsidiousNoob. Waffles there just managing to stay outside of the blast radius, manages to live with 4,000. Well played, as InsidiousNoob there overextends and is made to pay for it. Switching back to the lower west side. Wheelie continuing to push here. Blast Shield continuing to absorb the majority of the punishment. TheWreck, meanwhile, having got himself a shield, making himself more relevant. Once again, we saw his health get awful low just a little while back. Still just sitting on 1 star. Wheelie is up to a 4-star and around half health. SealForce getting himself the stealth upgrade. Has the gun. There's a big trickle of Tech 1 bombers going in nicely, inflicting lots of damage in the area, but it's too late to impede SealForce's upgrade. He's got the stealth. He's still only at the Tech 1 stage. These players are trying to get their Tech 2 point defense online as well. Blast Shield so far seems to be left to hold, as TheWreck is, well, he's moving off to the side, trying to deal with isolated units there on the run by TheWreck, who does have a stronger force in the central area, predominantly Tech 3, and looks like he's won quite a nice battle there, and is in the middle of reclaiming a large mass field that will benefit Team 1 nicely. Oh, look at this. SealForce continues to press. I'm just wondering, is this a little bit of a mistake? He's far too far forward. He's got no defense whatsoever. And with it, the second player on Team 2 is down inside a couple of minutes. SealForce, no doubt, misclicking there. Didn't pay attention. The Wheelie finds that funny in chat. SealForce saying oops in chat. Yeah, I think that confirms oops indeed. A misclick and a half. If we come through the central area this time, MrBeast's turn to get the Tech 3 gunships on the way. Being Aeon, they are restorers. It's got a nice ball of ASF to escort that as well. So yeah, first little moment of pause as we get through this game. It's been pretty much all hands on deck so far. So we get to 90 minutes, 40 seconds. Let's have a little look at the ecos overall. If we take a look, mass totals, Team 1 just over 500,000. Team 2, Team Red down south there, coming up to 500,000. The discrepancy there, we're just talking 2 or 3 percentage points between them. If we take a look on mass income tick for tick, it's neck and neck. 790 versus 790 doesn't get much closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. This is still anybody's game, although APM-wise, clearly huge advantage now for Team 1. Taking a little look. Oh dear, look at the bricks. Causing a huge amount of damage there on Tryth's forces. Tryth, who inherited the area over here previously under the command of InsidiousNoob. Predominantly Tech 2 there. He's also got the Air Force from MrBeast overhead to contend with. It's going to make it very difficult for Tryth to hold 2200 rated or not. Tryth a little further back here. Was actually unable to beat back his 1800 opponent, so not entirely sure what was going on there, but we do see Team 1 comfortably in control of this central lake or this central pond area. TheWreck as well as Terminal made the play there earlier on, and there now, look at this. Tech 2 cruisers up front. This is going to be a problem for Team 1 and their Air Force. BalanceSlave is going to have to be well aware of that. Doesn't want to fly over all of those Aeon floating SAM sites. He's going to guarantee lose every time he does. Looks like the Wheelie, the first player thinking about some sort of a counter, puts bricks in the drink with their torpedo launcher to try and whittle away at some of these ships. Let's take another look over here. So far, all quiet on the western front down there. Up here, meanwhile, a bit more action. Tryth managing to get together some of the harbs together with the Tech 2, the mobile shield combo. Very nice. He's also got a static point defense down. UEF flavor, and that has dissuaded Waffles from pressing through, despite, once again, I mean, look at this. MrBeast just tickling them to death with their air. Should really make a play on that. You know, everybody makes these YouTube videos. Oh, MrBeast this, MrBeast that. You know, trying to ride the wave on the views. I should try and do that every time MrBeast plays in FAF. You never know. Might end up getting a few new players that way. Rick's trying to push through, and you can see here, Wreck is actually somewhat fearful of these. He's continuing to back off from these bricks. That just makes you think if Wheelie could get a few more bricks under there, might be able to knock him out the Navy. Speaking of which, Wheelie, who's drawn a front line well beyond the 50-way mark, despite being a player down, Wheelie, the 2600, has been able to capitalize on that second base. Both of the players there poising for an air match. Beast and BalanceSlave. Let's have a little look on numbers. Total air, MrBeast 116, BalanceSlave 142. So a minor advantage there for BalanceSlave. This is a lovely play here by BalanceSlave, able to inflict a lot of damage there. He could do worse than go after the shield and the flak. They're managing there to pick off a Percy. You can see their terminal is fearful. He's running away. This is some really nice trades here from BalanceSlave, inflicting a lot of damage for very little cost. Tryth also rolling up now with Percys and shields. This is beautiful team play from Team 2. Zoom out on the minimap there. It appears there's a little drop on the cards from Terminal as well. Man, oh man, this 1800's all over the shop. We've got a Percy on board there getting dropped. Sounds like Percy's getting himself attacked there as well. Or Terminal, the man with the Percys. Here he is. Up against this large force here from Tryth, putting some nice overcharges in there, inflicting a lot of damage. See, even though you've got such a strong, bulky commander, it's like it can so quickly go south when you're talking with units as strong as this. I mean, look at this combo. Tryth getting stuck in as well. Oh, man. You know, you get one player suddenly focusing down all the units on the enemy commander. We've got a large wave of bombers here from Tryth, all of which unloaded on the commander. Look at the hit points on the shield evaporate there, down to less than 20%. The bombers are swinging around for another approach. He's going to want to dance to avoid, and he does so very successfully. That leaves the door open for Tryth to continue to push, and Tryth, I mean, he's got the numbers. Look at the pick and mix on units here. Absolutely insane. We've got flaks, shields from various factions, Percys, Harbs, you name it. Tryth's got it. Terminal knows it and is backing off. 25 minutes. Let's have another look down on the lower west side. Big fight now. Oh, look at this. I'll tell you what, man. You know when Supreme Commander, like, the screenshots come out, like, 15 years ago? These were the screenshots that you saw, man. These epic battles. And it's never greater than now to see these epic battles between some of the best team players that FAF has today. Absolutely beautiful. Just look at all of those effects, man. I realise we don't get a great idea on exactly who's doing what with this view, but just take a moment. Look at all the particles flying through the sky. Boom, a nice overcharge coming in. Let's track that. There it goes. Vehicle destroyed. We'll go back to full pace. Wheelie looking very strong still, but he's getting pincered between two opposing forces. As Wreck together with waffelzNoob moving in. Wheelie chucking in a few Corsair fighter bombers, going for the Wreck personally. Oh, you got to be careful once Harp starts running around you. Oh, he's got to be so careful as Wheelie, because all of these forces could all of a sudden primary him, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Look at the hit points evaporate, and with it, 26 minutes, 9 seconds, Wheelie can go ahead and wheel on home. TheWreck taking the kill, at least on paper there. Switching back over to, let's go through this central area. Tryth, meanwhile, punching out for his team. Don't forget now, Team 2 down to just 2 players. All the hopes pinning on this little attack, but it appears to be fizzling out as a shed load of purses run headlong into a brick wall here from Terminal. Brick wall has also got a shield as well as a Percy or 2 of his own there, and that's going to dissuade Tryth from carrying on pushing. Looks like Tryth's temporarily attention elsewhere, and he's going to lose all of those Percys without very much more to his name. Let's have a little look over here. Oh my goodness, Tryth getting punched and battered. His shield's down. He's down to just 2/3 health as a whole building of bricks descends on his location. For reasons unknown, waffelzNoob decides to back off a little bit, no doubt about it. If Waffles wanted, the kill was his. Perhaps didn't want to hand over the entire eco to BalanceSlave, the 2400 BalanceSlave, who's actually looking pretty strong on the lower west side. Although they've still got that pesky navy there from TheWreck to deal with from Team 1. 27 minutes into the game. If you haven't already, you know where that button is. You can do it for us. So, you know, I always like to give some sort of excuse as to why to hit the like button. It's the first cast in over a month. And you can hear it sounds like, oh, maybe he's doing a little bit better than he was last time. Or I gave an update on Patreon. I actually shut Patreon down for a month because I felt that ill. It was unfair to anybody supporting the channel. But back to the game at hand. I'll tell you what else is unfair. waffelzNoob with this huge force bearing down on Tryth's base, and Tryth, who's got very, very little to stop. I say he's got very, very little. Could this be the answer? Cyclops Eye himself marching into the area. The problem is there's so many bricks and other units there. I'm not sure if this is going to be an open and shut case. We've also got this large attack down there. I think it is time to split the screen. We'll have a look on the lower west side on the action there. We'll move the map down south and we'll keep an eye on this attack here. We'll temporarily fold the scoreboard out the way. GC versus bricks. Numerous commanders and large attacks taking place down there. As SealForce, together with Waffles, attempt to deal with this large army from BalanceSlave. BalanceSlave is making the play versus Blast Shield with all of these broadswords. Look at the hit points there evaporating, as well as the hit points here from the GC evaporating, thanks to all these bricks. Maybe the GC could march around to get some kills. And there goes the first player from Team 1. Very well played. BalanceSlave there, bringing it back to a 2 versus 4. GC here is about to die, and there it goes. 2 very significant deaths there inside a few seconds. Let's get back to single screen. That, of course, leaves the door wide open for these units here from Waffles to continue to press. Although there's a GC almost finished here from Tryth, that GC needs to come online, and it needs to come online right now. His entire base here is up for the taking. Although the vast majority of the units were taken out by that first GC. Man, oh man, it's going to be close. But here comes that GC. Tryth gets straight on the way with a 3rd. That GC starts sucking units off left, right, and centre as it mazes the rest of them. And with it, crisis averted, at least for now. On the west side, once again, BalanceSlave is attempting to push out as we break through the half-hour mark. TheWreck gets himself an experimental online. We've also got this little run by here from BalanceSlave right on the western side. You should never say right on the left, but of course it's fully on the left-hand side. As BalanceSlave continues to press, and TheWreck's got to be a little bit careful here. There are numerous siege tanks. We've got bricks, all of them bearing down. Is BalanceSlave going to be able to pull it back or not is the question. TheWreck continues to run. He's still on a 4 shield, but now it looks like the bricks have dealt with all the targets. BalanceSlave focuses in on the commander. TheWreck, all of them are primary in the target. TheWreck's going to start trying to get out the way. The pointless dancing when you're talking with these high rate, high speed cannons that the bricks are able to inflict, and I don't think Wreck's got much of a chance there, but he can try. Look at his hit points, 1,500, and it's good night. BalanceSlave bring it back to a 2 versus 3. Very well played. And I think they can see why waffelzNoob was very much against handing the entire base off to Waffles. You can see how well he can play. Have a look at this. Oh my goodness. Terminal facing off against a GC. Manages to get out into the drink, having lost his shield and over half his health. That was so close. Tryth once again nips the attack in the bud. And if we take a little look at this now as we get just into the 31st towards the 32nd minute. Nice little run by here. MrBeast, I don't think he's had very much attack at his base all game, but now he does. He's created a lot of Tech 2 gunships to deal with this, but I think he's going to lose his mass in exchange. I don't think he's going to be too upset about that. But nonetheless, can't claim that had nothing to do all game. Tryth trying to harass, but once again, Waffles has managed to get a huge number of units together. Waffles actually making a huge use of these stealth deceiver units that of course encompass an area. Let's have a little look what Tryth can see. There's the answer. Almost all of these units here are invisible thanks to that stealth unit that the Cybran have. BalanceSlave tickling away at MrBeast's base, or the base that's been handed off to MrBeast, but the problem is he's got a GC of his own flanked with a shed load of harbs and flak, and BalanceSlave knows when the gig's up, decides to back off. Still got this constant Navy pressure here from Team 1, who have made the switch up to Tech 3 Navy. We've got an Omen-class battleship, we've got aircraft carriers. BalanceSlave is still trying to trickle bricks into the area. We've also got ourselves a GC here. Oh, sorry, Monkey Lord, should I say, from Team 1. waffelzNoob. GC on the brain after that. Tryth is, however, bringing a GC down to try and plug the gap. I wonder, do they actually see that the Monkey Lord is there? Well, they ought to see that there's something there on radar. They may not necessarily know what it is. Of course, there are the telltale signs of the long-range cannon, but that's assuming that you are looking at that moment in time. There goes down the ping, so certainly Team 2 are aware of it if they weren't before. And at 33 minutes, 33 seconds, let's have a little look again at the... Oh, look at this. The totalizers now. 2.05 million favouring Team 1. Team 2, 1.36 million. So however much of a neck-and-neck it was last time we looked, the scores have diverged more than somewhat, and that's because you can see here how many mass points are missing from Team 2's control. Team 1 have got all of theirs. Tryth once again trying a little breakout there. Lovely manoeuvre here from Terminal, eating into the flank of this. And if we move further south, this Monkey Lord, continuing to press, has 2 broadswords on his case. Monkey Lord will be able to inflict some damage along the way. BalanceSlave now chucking Corsair fighter bombers into it as well. And just similar to what we saw at MrBeast's end of the game, I think some of these mass points here may be at risk, although a shed load of broadswords rolling onto the scene now. Monkey Lord will not live long with all of that fire from those Tech 3 gunships bearing down on its chassis. Just 8,076, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Incy Wincy can go and say good night. BalanceSlave still holding out very well on the lower west side, as to be said. Could do worse than try and rebuild some of these mass points. Being behind on mass as their team are. BalanceSlave has been able, look at this, very impressive, been able to bully back all of this navy, including the Tech 3 battleships and everything else. It's actually focused on this aircraft carrier. It's got the bricks right underneath it. Eating a little bit of unnecessary fire there from the broadsword. Doesn't take BalanceSlave more than a second to realise. Backs off. And the long-range battleship fire continues to rain in. Only has 11, now 12 kills to its name, but of course, mostly against high-value targets such as bricks. Waffles looking increasingly dangerous here with more and more Monkey Lords. He's got another wave here. For those of you that can remember as far back as the thumbnail that you clicked on, do you have spidey senses? Are you able to feel the spiders coming? I don't know if you're somebody, when you're walking around a shop, if you can feel somebody looking at you or not. I realise some people can't, some can. My girlfriend can't, but she doesn't know what I'm talking about when I'm saying it. What I do know is we've got a large air engage here between the two players, BalanceSlave as well as MrBeast. And whoever wins this is going to win it. We've also got a huge breakthrough from MrBeast land-wise. So many harbs there escorting the GC. It's like BalanceSlave was temporarily elsewhere with his attention. And BalanceSlave, as in Team 2, I think have just lost air. MrBeast has now won air for sure. It's once again split the screen as this advance takes place here. We've got an attack here with numerous Monkey Lords bearing down. Question is, can Tryth hold this off? He's got at least 3 GCs and a few harbs of his own, but they're going to have to work together on this. MrBeast's gone ahead and marched right through this open door. We do have BalanceSlave trying to chase it up, but he's a little far away, has to be said. The attack here continues. Down goes another one. GCs so far have done well, but down goes the first GC. There goes the second. BalanceSlave says the water bricks are 2 true heroes, 10,000 mass killed. Let's go back, I think, to single screen. And oh my goodness, Tryth not only kills himself, realizes the writing's on the wall, detonates his entire base. For those of you, look at that, ban, kind of toxic reported. Of course, alluding to the fact that, you know, when you die, if you no longer wish to play, you should hand your base off to somebody else. Although I think, said in jest, we can very much see now, as the last minute or two of this game unfolds, the writing is on the wall. We've got a nuke out now, as if it's required. These 2 GCs that led the way in the breakthrough there versus BalanceSlave continuing to do just that. In comes the nuke. BalanceSlave running away from his base. We've got defense sat over the area as well. Let's slow time down. Is he able to get out of dodge is the question. Well, he's certainly trying. And there goes the nuke. Kaboom! And it does appear to take the commander with it, and with it, BalanceSlave, the final player remaining for Team 2, goes down. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you enjoyed that. And no, there was no massive major comeback this time. I'm sure there was some of you saying, oh, when Team 2 were down to just 2 players and Team 1 still had 5, it was obvious that Team 2 were going to win. Well, not so obvious this time, was it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope very much that you enjoyed the game today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, next time, see ya.